Welcome back to the Commercial Real Estate Show. I'm Michael Bull. Today we're talking about the hospitality industry. We have hotel and industry experts here, Mark Woodworth and Andrew Pace and David Marvin. And guys, we talked about how rosy this business is right now. So is it time to buy hotels? Is the timing right?
Well, I'm going to use a Mark Woodworth statement and say it all depends. Really, I think that where it's time to sell is if you own an asset that you don't see a trajectory where you can continue to add value. Cap rates are at a historic low point at the moment. Long-term assets have enjoyed a heck of a ride here. Maybe it's time to sell. Alternatively, if you see upside, whether it's because you've got a product that's fresh and inviting and well located and has some room for better management, it's probably time to buy.
Well, Mark, is that why that you said earlier that the velocity of sales was not as high as it was in the pre-recession days? A lot of those sectors that we're involved in are having more velocity than the pre-recession days, but if the hotel industry is not, is that the reason? You're an owner, so if you see upside potential, like, why do I sell, right? If the market's improving.
Well, I think that's right, and of course the age-old question, if you're a seller, is what are you going to do with the money too? Yeah. So. But we see opportunities to buy and we see opportunities to sell, and I think real estate is an asset, highly localized decision-making exercise. We think it's been said before that hotels, as an asset class, are the most under-demolished asset class there is out there. Brands are innovating all the time. There's a proliferation of new ideas, new brands, for example, to address the millennials. And so there are some hotels that are going to be in decline until they're no more, and best to shed your portfolio of those kinds of assets.
And while you're talking about that, Mark, you mentioned earlier that, of course, the market is doing really well, but there are some hotels and locations that are still struggling, right? What are those?
From a location perspective,
right.
The only two areas that have yet to get back to the kind of the pre-recession levels are small town environments and highway locations. Airports, urban markets, suburban markets, and resorts are all have fully recovered. So we're watching those two other categories closely, but as you'd expect, therefore, the level of transaction activity you're seeing in some of these softer locations remains somewhat depressed.
Yeah. And Andrew, as a management company, I guess you're seeing a lot of transaction activity. I guess some of these investors are coming to you before they buy it, right, and asking you how this is going to operate.
Well, to say it differently than David said, for every buyer there's a seller. So everybody has their different, investment parameters. Some can only stay in a deal for 5 years, so they're sellers.
Yeah.
Some never sell a hotel.
Yeah. Give us an example of a recent sale that you've seen.
Sure. I know just a couple months ago, RLJ, a large REIT in the industry, sold about 24 hotels for $240 million. And the applied cap on that was 7.9%. And that was before needed renovations of about $65 million. So really, if you want to look at the numbers, and they're not all there, but it's probably a 6 cap sale on 24 assets. So I don't know if that's indicative of the industry, but certainly cap rates are going down. And
I think to pick up on something Andrew just said, Michael, that the what's the length of the money, so to speak? You mentioned some people have locked in time horizons they have to live with and so forth. But the most common question that we've been getting from our clients the last couple of years now is, tell us what the end's going to. When's the end going to get here, and what's it going to look like? Because the last 2 times it got here quick and it was bad. So we got to face that again.
Now everyone's like the old E.F. Hutton commercial now. Like, all right, yeah, that's what we all want to know.
And the answer is I don't know, right? No,
I've got an answer.
No, well, we have a view, and I'd love to know your. Yeah. But the sense is as we look at cycles and so forth, and history will tell us that you can feel pretty comfortable. They go for somewhere between 7 and 10 years. We're clearly on the long end of history right now. So to get back to this, the kind of how long can you park your capital somewhere? What we've been suggesting is, hey, we don't know the end. I mean, just if you just believe in things reverting to the mean, that should start happening 3-4 years from now. If there is another hiccup, it's probably going to be in that window. So suggesting if you're buying something today, or even if you're already in the market, hopefully you've got capital that you can leave in place for a 5 to 7 year window. And by the way, because of what we saw the last 2 times around, don't over-lever. Keep a nice cash cushion in place.
Market timing really should be part of your investment parameters here. And to that end, if you want to look at a crystal ball, I think on average, the upside in the cycle, the economic cycle, is 105 months of positive growth. That's the last several cycles. We're 68 months into that right now, which will leave you about 3 more years, all else the same.
Yeah. You know,
but some say it's going to go longer, so who knows?
Yeah, one thing I'd add is that this cycle has not seen the flood of new supply. Supply continues to be constrained. Memories are short, but they're not so short. And really, supply growth has been small. And so a record number of people are spending the night at a hotel, and yet supply growth has been constrained and occupancy is pushing. And, I think that that's going to extend this positive cycle.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. I mean, with the construction costs where they are and land cost and I think there are some headwinds to new developments. And also I think people are more careful than they were before, especially lenders. And so I think this might be a longer cycle, in my opinion, in commercial real estate in general. Well, stay tuned. We'll have one more segment for you on the hospitality industry. I'm Michael Bull. This is the Commercial Real Estate Show. We'll be right back. The Commercial Real Estate Show is brought to you by Bull Realty Commercial Advisors, a great place to do business. Visit bullrealty.com. RealNex, a comprehensive and powerful suite of commercial real estate tools at an incredibly low price. Visit realnex.com. That's REALNEX. FIU, Florida International University. Earn your master's in real estate in as little as 10 months without interrupting your career. Visit FIUonline.com. Xceligent, the resource professionals use for commercial real estate information. Visit Xceligent.com. That's XCELIGENT. Commercial Search, the source to market and source available properties for sale or lease. Visit commercialsearch.com. For more information on these great companies or for additional videos, podcasts, or articles, visit CREshow.com.